Hi, I am giving the last negative rebuttal on Danielle Leva's subject regarding implementing the arts back into schools. And I want to bring up the website that she brought up in her last video, and that website is omniglot.com, and Melanie Hargrave had talked about why learning a foreign language at an early age is important and critical, specifically because it can support students in understanding English better. And I agree with Danielle that if we have students learn a foreign language at an early age, that it'll help them become a better critical thinker. It'll help them retain the language even better, because when they're so young, their minds are like sponges. And this in turn will help them it'll support them to be fluent in that language. And for them to be fluent in another language and be bilingual is amazing, because employers love to hire people that are bilingual. And so I see her point in learning a foreign language can be helpful for students. But I'm not sure how a foreign language and learning that is specifically in art, because art, specifically defined by the Merriam-Webster dictionary, says that it's the methods and skills used for painting, sculpting, and drawing, works created by artists, paintings and sculptures that are created to be beautiful or to express important ideas or feelings. Something that is created with imagination and skill that is beautiful or that expresses important ideas or feelings. And it is also one of the humanities, a branch of learning. So as we can see, that it is a broad term, but I do want to ask, how are we going to better our foreign language program specifically? And like I said, I agree that if a student learns a foreign language earlier on in their academic career, that it is really important and really amazing, because they can learn it and retain the information. But I want to ask, how long are we going to have an art class? Because if it's going to take away from STEM, from science, technology, engineering, mathematics, is it going to take away from these classes? Because these classes are of utmost importance. Because I agree with you, math is not that interesting. For me, it isn't. But we can't speak for the general population that most people find it boring, because we haven't talked to most students. And we can make science creative. I mean, just look at Bill Nye and what he has done to make science fun, to create science as a fun and creative subject, and what he teaches people in his lessons. So, and I agree that every parent can't afford to send their children to an art school, and they may not want to be at that school, because art schools are focused on specifically arts. And if they are not going to be in that field, then they'd be wasting their time and their parents' money. But if they know that they do want to go there and the parent can't afford it, then by all means go there instead. But like I mentioned before, if we have art as seeing as how important it is, and how you declared that it is, you said that students can get a scholarship for their arts just like they can for sports. Well, sports is typically an extracurricular activity. I know we have physical education, but if we made art as extracurricular just like sports, they could make that an after-school thing, so as not to take away from math or science classes. And I know that you had mentioned that if school isn't fun, they aren't going to want to go. But the reality is that elementary school students at that age don't have a choice. They, by law, have to go to school. And like I mentioned before, the New York Times and the Washington Post have stated that Obama's 2014 budget proposal on education is just, it's not feasible at this time to have art right now because of the budget cuts, because of people being laid off, because of the housing market that just caused the economy to tank. And we are just in such a deficit and in so much financial crisis that it doesn't make sense for us to have the arts right now, because it's just kind of an extra. And I agree that music lessons could possibly help the students, but it could take time away from these classes. And I mentioned that perhaps students can do an after-school program, like I just said, if they choose, and raise the money to do that. So, thank you.